Hi everyone, this is Tom and a tutorial about how SummaLetter was built with no code in just one weekend. And this video is a demo session recorded for Product Launchers Club, where we describe trending ideas and launch micro startups every month. If you find yourself stuck in your daily job, dreaming of having your own startup, you can join us for inspiration and ready to acquire products like this one. So how does SummaLetter work? Just to give you a quick review, you land at summaries.com and sign up for a free account. Then you are able to choose a nickname and get a brand new dedicated SummaRes email you can use to subscribe to newsletters. And now, each time the newsletter reaches your SummaRes inbox, it is automatically summarized using AI, and all these summaries are being sent to you in a daily or weekly digest. You can also subscribe to a paid premium version to be able to add some keywords to track and get more detailed summaries. We'll be building with Bubble, which is a no-code full-stack development platform. I use it for most of my projects. If you are not familiar with Bubble, you should definitely try it because, as I mentioned, it's a full-stack development platform, a no-code platform, but it gives you a real huge possibilities in terms of building web apps. It gives you an access to design tab where you can design your app, workflow where you can manage your workflows, data where you can manage your database, styles to design the look and feel, and plugins. Yes, plugin is a really powerful feature of Bubble. You've got thousands of plugins in Bubble Store, and a lot of them are for free. I will use a number of plugins in SummaRes. The main one is API connector that allows us to connect to external APIs. And the second one is OpenAI ChatGPT Assistant Vision, which gives us an access to all the GPT's API in one place. I also use a number of extra plugins like Classify, Toolbox, Copy to Clipboard, which gives us some extra tools to speed up the development process, reCAPTCHA to prevent spam, and Clarity to record sessions and get analytics. So the workflows we need to build are account creation and login, adding an email alias in the domain of summaries.com, then handling incoming emails and creating summaries, automatic sending of summaries to users, payments with premium accounts, and additionally a feature for searching keywords in emails. Once you have your workflows designed, you should start with the database structure. I mean, the proper database structure is crucial for designing any type of app. This time, the database will be quite simple. We'll have the two main data types. First is email, and second one is email content. Both of them are for incoming emails. And I split them into two tables to improve performance. I mean, for most of the time, we'll be just using email, and email content is only for preview purposes. And if the database will grow big, we can even get rid of displaying original email content. So the email data type has several fields. I will now go through them. First is summarized, Boolean, yes, no. It says if the email was summarized. And the second one, send in summary. So the email can be summarized, but not yet sent in the summary. So this is for filtering purposes, for us to know if the email was already summarized or sent to user in the summary. We've got a couple of fields from the original mail, like from, subject, and to. Also a related user to know which user is attached to this email, and two fields for the summary and the summary advanced. I split them into two because I am using two type of GPT API. The first one is the simpler one, 3.5, and the second one GPT-4. which can be used if the user has paid and wants to have more advanced summary. So this is the database designed for email. For email content, I'm basically holding an original HTML and plain text from the email, and of course we need to have a related email from this for this content and related user as well. Then we'll have the summary object. The summary object basically gathers all the emails that was sent in the summary and has also the topic field. I mean, when we are sending a summary to a user, we will use this topic to summarize all the emails sent in the summary. So each email will have its own summary, and also all emails in the summary will have the summary. Yeah. Then we'll have the user table. I mean, for all the users, it's the table that it's automatically created by Bubble, but has only the email field. We have more fields in the email. I will now go through them. First, a couple of fields, yes, no fields. Is GPT-4, so we are able to turn on or turn off GPT-4 summaries for each of the users. Is paid, we control if the user has paid or not. Verified, if user has verified his email. So these three are controlling our behavior of the app based on what user has done or what he can do or cannot. Then we have the alias. The alias is the alias, I mean the email in the SummerLetter domain that user has chosen, and he is able to use this alias to send newsletters to. Control fields last email received and last summary generated for us to know when the user has the last email received and last summary generated. This can be valuable for dashboards and reports. Also, the name of the user and the photo for him to be able to change this and set up his own photo and email. Sign up code and sign up token. We use passwordless in the app. That means that you don't have to remember your password because you are getting your code to your email that you need to paste into the app. So these two fields are for this, and a list of keywords related. We have a keyword table for the users to be able to set up their own keywords. So the keyword just has a name. And then if user has set up his keywords, we are able to search for these keywords in the emails that he has received and also provide them in the summary. So this is an extension, an extra module that can be used for premium users as well. We've got also an additional data type called bad words, and this is filled up with the words that are forbidden to use in the aliases. So I've uploaded from some public domain forbidden words here. And we've got frequently asked questions. This is used for displaying the frequently asked questions on the landing on the landing page. We also have some additional data type called option sets because Bubble uses data types as a traditional database and option sets for the variables that are more static and not changed frequently. And these option sets are for our subscription plans. We got two subscription plans, free plan and pro plan. And each of these plans has its own subscription features. This is also to display this on the landing page. As you see, these features can be attached to one of the option set to display on the landing page which plan has which what kind of features. You can also see that some of the data types have privacy rules applied. This is also built in Bubble and allows you to control who can see what in your app. Doesn't matter if he is able to access some particular functions, these privacy rules controls the information on the database side, and you are able to set up these privacy rules here in the privacy tab. For example, the emails can be visible only to the email owner. So if the email is related user is current user, you're able to see the emails. For everyone else, they are not visible. So this is how you set up the privacy rules. I've set up the privacy rules for email content, keywords, summary, and users, and not for the questions and bad words because they are publicly visible. They don't need to be protected. The whole app is only 3 pages: index, dashboard, and OTP, while the OTP page is only for login purposes and for signing up. So we do have an index page. It's a page which you can see when you visit summerletter.com. It has a form to get started, to type in your email as well as the sign in button. And it has also the questions list, the question and answers that comes from the database, the pricing that comes from the option set. It's also dynamic, and basically that's all. The dashboard page, it's a little bit more complicated. So I do have three groups here. So summaries, newsletters, and keywords. These are the main tab, and you are able to switch through these tabs using the buttons here: summaries, newsletter, and keywords. And each of the group, the tab has different functions. The summary gives you information about all the summaries you have in the database, the summaries that was generated. The newsletter tab gives you an information about all the newsletters you've got, and mean all the emails that were incoming and were processed. It is the group that has all the emails from the database. And if you click on the email, you are able to get the details, which is on the pop-up. And in this pop-up, you are getting the email name, creation date, the from, and so on. But you also can view the summary and the original content of the email. So all happens here in the pop-up. Of course, if you are not logged in, you can sign in into your account as well as from indexes from the dashboard page. I've created a pop-up for this. And this add-on I've mentioned during the database creation, called keywords. So this is an experimental feature for the user to be able to set up his own keywords. And they look like tags, and you can add or remove them. Yeah, you've got adding keywords straight from here. And this OTP page, which is only for verification. If you got your code through the email, you are being redirected to this page. You can paste the code here, and then click next to verify yourself. This is for signing up and signing in. I wanted to make the account creation super simple yet effective. So this is why I decided to go with passwordless. Every time you click the Get Started button, you are being redirected to the page where you need to type in the verification code. And right after typing in the verification code, you are going to the app. The verification code is being sent by email to the user, so we are confirming the user's email, by the way. Let's see how it works in terms of the application. This is the backend workflow. to process when user clicks Get Started button. What happens? So we are showing up the loader, of course, and then we are using the action to create an account using only user's email, and then generating sign up code to be sent by email to the user. Then sending this email and going to page OTP, as you have seen in the previous step. All right, so to create an account for someone else, this is the built-in action in Bubble. We only need a user's email. And then we are using something called internal API. This is an API I've created to set up a sign-up code, secret sign-up code based on the user's unique ID. Let's take a look at this workflow. We will go into internal API workflows, and this is that workflow. What happens? So we are getting the user and generating the sign-up code as a random string and also a sign-up token. Then the combination of those two will be used to validate the sign-up code once user types it in. We also have another action to make sure the sign-up code is 6-digit long. This is only for the sign-up codes that were generated and were under 6-digit long. And then returning this data from API back to the workflow, sign-up code and sign-up token. Okay, let's get back to the original workflow. Here we are using mailer send an email to a user with this confirmation code. So again, when you sign up, you are typing in your email and you are getting your sign-up code in the confirmation email. So we are not only signing user up using this code, but also making sure that the email is valid. I am also sending an email to myself that the new user has signed up and then going to page OTP. And what happens at the OTP page? This is the OTP page with the verification code input to type in and the button. And then when the user types in all the input fields and clicks the button, we are running the workflow called handle code send. And this workflow verifies the code. Then when code is not valid, it is showing an error. And when the code is valid, it logs the user in and going to page dashboard. Let's dig into the details of verifying the code in the internal API. Again, we will move to the backend workflows and the internal API called verify code. And this internal API has 3 steps. Firstly, we are looking for the user to check if the code and token pair is valid. If so, we are assigning a temp password to an user to be able to log him in, and then returning the data with the user and the temporary password to log him in. This first step, making changes to user, it's just making a lookup in the database with the sign-up code and token. And if so, it changes the status of the user to verified. If we are sure that the user is verified, we are able to assign the temp password to a user only if the result was successful. See? And the return, again, is happening only if the result was successful. So only if the user passes the proper code in pair with the token, we are able to return the data from API. If you are ready with your verification code and it was verified with success, the next step for the user is to claim his inbox name. Because SummaRight allows you to choose your own inbox name that you will be using for your newsletters. It automatically gets an username from an existing email and suggests that he should create a john@inboxsummaRight.com. And after clicking check, the system verifies if this is available, and if so, it logs you in and allows you to start using SummaLetter. How does it work from the perspective of the backend? So this is the design page. Let's take a look at the check button. If we click on the edit workflow, we can see the workflow attached to these buttons. So the most important thing here is this step 1 to verify the alias using the internal API. Let's take a look at this API. What happens? Internal API, verify alias. Okay, step by step. Firstly, we are checking out if the alias is not shorter than 3 characters or doesn't contain special characters. In this step, we are verifying just the length and the special characters contained in the alias. If so, we are terminating this workflow and returning no. That means that alias is not available. The next step will be to look for the bad words in the database. Remember we have the list of the bad words that are not available to set up as an alias. So if user uses any of them, we are terminating this workflow and returning the data API from no. And if everything is okay, we are returning that the alias is available, and we are using the forward email API to create an alias. So this is the crucial step, because forward email is a service we use for setting up aliases and forwarding emails from alias to the app. It allows you to do such things using the powerful API, and this is the API endpoint at forward email to create aliases programmatically. You are able to set up an alias at your domain, and then each email that is being sent to this alias is being redirected to your webhook. So every time email is sent to your alias, it is being redirected to the app. So this is an example email, and it says that it's summarized. So let's take a look. See, the email is in Polish, but it was being summarized automatically into English in these 3 points. We can also view the original content here, which is quite long, and the summary. Okay, so how does it work? Let's go back to the app and take a look at this workflow. It's a webhook that it's being called by forward email every time there is an incoming email at one of the aliases we've created. And what happens here? So, in the first step of this workflow, we are looking for the user with this alias, and we are making a change that the last email received what was now. This is to make sure that user exists, because if not, we are terminating this workflow. And also to note down the date of the last email was received. We can then use it for the dashboard or for the stats to look for the users, how often do they receive emails. Then we are creating a new email in the database using the fields from the webhook. So the subject, to, from, and the related user. We are also creating an email content in the database with the email content, both plain content and HTML content, and attaching this to the related email that was created in the previous step. So this is the setup phase to make sure that the user is there and creating an email and email content in the database. And then the magic happens. In this step, we are calling an API of OpenAPI to make a summary of an email. We are using the GPT 3.5 turbo model and some simple setup for this. I will show you the prompt that we are using. This is the example prompt. You're the assistant that reads emails with newsletter content, blah, blah, blah. I will provide you with the content. Please perform the following actions. So, firstly, translate the content to English. This to make sure that every summary is being summarized in English, even if the email is in the different language. That's an additional feature of SummaLetter, by the way, to translate the contents of the emails and summaries in English. Then, format the summary as HTML. Always create a summary in English, even if the content is not in English. We are underlining this fact twice to make sure that the content will be in English. Do not include the word summary in the summary. If the content is empty or not valid, do not try to write the summary. Just respond with a sentence, no summary available. And the content is the content that we've received in the webhook. Basically, this is the contents of email as a plain text with some filters. I mean to find and replace some special characters, also to truncate this to 50,000 characters to make sure it doesn't go over the OpenAI limits. Let's take a look at this arbitrary text. This is an extra step to look for the keywords in our email, and if keyword was found, to mention it in the summary. So, if there are any of these keywords in the content, include it in summary writing that you found on the keywords with the name. And the keyword list we are getting from the related keywords from the user. If no keywords, check again to make sure, and then create a list of 3-point short summary of the newsletter based on the given content. If we are not having any keywords, we are just creating a list of 3-point short summary of the newsletter based on given content. Yeah, so this is the whole prompt. Again, quite simple. And we are sending this to GPT 3.5 Turbo. Sometimes the GPT responds with an empty answer. So we are checking this. If there is no summary, we are calling it again. Yeah. This step is only if there was no summary created in this step. We also have another step called GPT-4 OpenAI. And we are using the similar prompt, but using the better model, GPT-4. But this is only if user is paid and it has a status of GPT-4. That means we are able to choose if some of the users will be able to use the better model, which is also more expensive, but if they are paying, why not? The prompt is similar, so I won't show you this again. And GPT-4 is better in finding keywords. So if we are using GPT 3.5, it sometimes it cannot find keywords, but GPT-4 it always finds the proper keywords. So for finding keywords, we should use this GPT-4, as well as the keywords feature is only available for the user who is paying. So if he's paying, he can use the GPT-4. After that, we are updating an email in the database with the summary generated. We are changing the status to summarized and also using the summary advanced to put the summary from GPT-4 only if it was created. If not, it will be empty. To make sure that the summary is not empty, we are also checking this step 7. If the summary was empty, in some case it's, as I said, GPT 3.5 may not return the proper summary. We are updating this from this step. So basically we are calling OpenAI 2 times, the second time only if the first time failed. Each day or each week, user is getting his summaries from the emails he got from the last summary. He can also click the button to generate the summary manually. This is the same workflow. So after clicking to generate the summary, summary is being generated. And in each summary, you're getting the list of emails that was summarized and the summary of all the emails that are included in the summary. That's here. So how does it work? Let's take a look in our app. There is a single workflow to generate the summary. And this workflow works in the background to generate the summary each day or each week, or when user clicks on the button. What happens in the workflow? Let's take a look at the steps. So firstly, we are making changes to user. What changes? Just changing one field, last summary generated. This is to make sure that the user exists. And if user exists, we are setting up the date that was that with the last summary generated. So this is the current date and time of running this workflow. If the user is not existing, we are terminating this workflow with an empty state. Okay, and then creating the summary with all of the emails, that was not previously sent in the summary. So basically, we are getting the list of all the emails that was not sent, and we are grouping them in the summary object. When there is no email to summarize, we are removing the last summary generated field from the user and terminating this workflow. Okay, and then the AI magic. We are calling OpenAI, the GPT 3.5 Turbo model, which is enough for this case, with this prompt. Your assistant that reads bullet points of content and creates understandable summaries. Create a one-sentence short summary based on the given content. Start with an intro similar to this summary contains, and create a summary in English. So this prompt gets all the emails that was summarized, the bullet points from these emails, and creates one sentence short summary from all the emails. And here we are passing the list of emails without the special characters and the new lines and so on. So these are the find and replace statements. After that, when we receive the summary from OpenAI, we are writing down this summary text in the database, then updating the list of emails that there were sent in the summary, so make sure that they won't be sent again, and using mailer send API, sending this summary to the user. So user will get this summary to his email. To be able to receive payments, we've set up a really simple integration with Lemon Squeezy. When user clicks buy, we are opening a link from Lemon Squeezy that overlays the form to type in your card number, email address, and so on, and pay. We use Lemon Squeezy because it works as a merchant of record. That means that Lemon Squeezy handles the tax compliance. The only thing we need to do is to receive the information from Lemon Squeezy that user has paid. To do that, we'll be using the webhooks from Lemon Squeezy. Basically, you are able to set up the webhooks in the Lemon Squeezy panel. It's pretty simple. So the webhook is an address of your app that we receive the information about the payment. And in our app, we have this workflow, API workflow called subscription payment. And how does it work? So every time user pays, Lemon Squeezy sends us the information to this endpoint. What we need to do? Firstly, we are calling the Lemon Squeezy API to verify the subscription. This is crucial to prevent frauds, to make sure that the subscription is really at lemon squeezy and it's valid. If not, we'll terminate this workflow if the subscription is not active. If it's active, we'll make changes to user, changing the status of payment to yes. And an additional step, if the user is not signed up yet, we are signing him up and sending him the link to login. This is for the users that wants to pay before trying out the app. It's not very often, but may happen. So we've added this step here in the workflow. We also have a similar workflow when the subscription is updated. Subscription updated means that the status of subscription has changed, and we are verifying this subscription and making changes to user that he has not paid only if the status of the subscription is not active. So if the subscription has been updated, the lemon squeezy sends us the information. We are verifying that subscription, and if it's not paid, if it's paused, if it's cancelled, we are updating the user that he has not paid. It's super simple. Of course, it may be much more complicated handling the user plans and the much more information here, but this was only to demonstrate how to make a simple integration and process payments from day one. Let me know what you think about this video. And remember, if you want more inspirations, tutorials and startups for sale like this, join us at the Product Launchers Club.